Byron Daniels, hey, they want to get mad. You act like it ain't publicly available. Okay, well then why you keep asking me the question? Let's continue on with the show. Byron Daniels is grilling an ex-Biden official. What's his name? O'Malley, an ex-Biden official, about undermining Trump prior to him taking office through the Biden administration. Check it out.
Is that right?
Correct.
Can you please explain the difference between the definitions of telework and remote work?
Yes, remote work is 100% from a different location and can include living entirely thousands of miles away. Telework is having the ability to work anywhere from 1 to 5 days a week at a remote location.
Okay. Can an agency force a federal employee to telework? Like similarly, can an agency force a federal employee to show up for work?
Yes, and we saw that happen during COVID-19. There was forced telework that happened, and they should have the ability to force an employee to show up to work. But when you have problematic components that are baked into the cake for the new administration that prevent, such as deputy commissioners at SSA, from having that authority because of a collective bargaining agreement, that's arguably counter to the law.
Do you feel it's within the purview of the President of the United States to set the work schedule for federal employees across the board?
I do, and in particular telework, that's what the Telework Act of 2010 requires.
Ms. Cross, do you agree with that assumption that the President of the United States has the broad authority to set work requirements for federal employees? Well, you can't think about it now, Ms. Cross. We're here. We're on the fly. Do you think it's under the purview of the President to set work requirements?
Byron Daniels is incredibly intelligent. Let me just say that. Byron Daniels is cool, calm, collected, poised, direct, get straight to the business. Preface his argument or preface the questions that he's about to ask somebody else by substantiating his argument. Byron Daniels is the man. He is absolutely the man.
For federal employees, since essentially we, in our system of government, we have a unitary executive, and the President of the United States is the executive branch.
Sure.
Okay. Mr. O'Malley, do you agree with that assessment that the President of the United States has the unilateral authority for setting work requirements for federal employees?
No, under the law, he has the ability, but
Mr.
it's
O'Malley.
not unilaterally. He has to abide by the law. At least in a republic, you abide by the law.
Mr. O'Malley, do you believe?
Oh, so for all of y'all that always say, no, we live in a democracy. No, we live in a republic governed by the Constitution. We live in a republic. For all of y'all that just have these talking points and you leaning off of something that you heard somebody else say, you even hear a ex-official of the Biden administration slip up and tell you guys that we do not live in a democracy, we live in a republic, okay? It is governed by the Constitution. Remember that. When somebody is saying that nonsense to y'all, help them to understand, no, listen, this is not a democracy, this is a republic, all right? We vote, but we are governed by the Constitution. The framework by which we live our lives and that affords us the freedom and allows for us to be able to advocate for this or that or to make sure that we preserve our rights is based off of our constitutional rights, okay?
That the President of the United States is the executive branch, whether it's President Trump, President Biden, President Obama, President Bush, Herbert Walker Bush, President Reagan. Do you believe that the President of the United States is the unitary executive and is the executive branch?
Yes, and he has to abide under the law. He has to obey the law.
So you mean to tell me that the President of the United States doesn't have the ability to set work requirements?
I'm saying that he does, but he has to do so under the terms and the rule of the law. And so, and contract law and things can.
He said he didn't at first. Now he's saying that he does, but with an asterisk.
Contained in agreements that are negotiated under the law are things that the president has to be mindful of and should be, and should be guided by.
When you signed this agreement with the unions over at the Social Security Administration, did you do it purposefully to undermine President Trump on his way in the door?
No, I did it to sustain the big customer service delivery improvements that this greatly depleted agency had made in the course of the year, and to try to staunch the attrition rate and the fact that so many are eligible for retirement. You know, the reduction in staffing is really hurting a lot of seniors in every one of your districts, a lot of people with disability, a lot of our poorest people that are on SSI. It's, I did what I did in order to better serve the American people.
So let's evaluate this, right? Because we have two different arguments, which obviously I'm on the side of Byron Daniels. The Trump administration is saying that we need to do an audit of the federal government because we have so many bloated agencies that are wasting money and stealing money from the American taxpayers and is not adding the services or adding value into society. As a matter of fact, they're just stealing money. What Trump and Elon Musk and Doge and Vivek Ramaswamy are all saying is that we need to not only do an audit, but we need to make sure that these people are not just sleeping every day and that they're here doing their jobs like they're supposed to do. They're being funded by taxpayers. These are not private businesses. And so we need to make them accountable. We need to see what they're doing, and we need them to return back into the office. One of the mandates is that we're going to have people return back into the office. What the Biden administration has done, as well as Mr. O'Malley here, is undermine what they know the Trump administration is going to do when they get back in office and basically institute different things that prevent that from happening. So essentially, what Byron Daniels is saying is correct. They're saying that they're doing it because they need to preserve integrity and prevent people from being able to walk away and retire through natural attrition because they will be understaffed to serve the community at large from whatever they doing, Social Security, whatever, right? Here's my question before we even get to the rest of this live stream, before we get to the rest of this questioning. Here's my question for you guys. Every single day, every day, I walk through and I save videos that you guys send me of people that say that they cannot get jobs. It is no jobs out here. There's no opportunities. They put in 1,000 resumes. I work in human resources. I'm a this, I'm a that. I can't figure it out. I got laid off. Now I got to depend on my husband. I got to go back to my baby daddy, which it makes a better environment for our children. But at the same time, I want to be an independent woman and I want to go out here and I want to work for myself and get my own apartment instead of depending on the husband or my baby daddy. I don't want to be with him. I want to break up our family again. I see these videos over and over and over and over. And I see people online saying, TikTok not paying out this month. Where's our checks at? TikTok robbed y'all. I see at least 7 videos inside of my email of y'all saying TikTok ain't paying y'all this month. Here's my question. First, is there a disconnect somewhere? Because I'm seeing people saying that there ain't no jobs. And then I'm also seeing that the government is saying that we got all of these positions open that we want to hire people for. And that's why we're not letting them go back into the office because we got too much attrition and we can't fill these positions. Which one is it? Which one is it? Is there not any positions? And so that's the reason why you're justifying allowing people to work from home, because you're trying to incentivize people to stay with working with the federal government, or is there no jobs? Because from what I'm seeing, it's a silent depression that's going on out here. Let's let them answer the rest.
But when you set this agreement, knowing that the presidential election had already been decided, did you call Mar-a-Lago and
You
say,
ain't like
hey,
my
what's your
example?
opinion on this?
Oh,
No,
no, wait, listen. We are a realistic millionaire derailment show on here. When I give an example or when I illustrate a point, I have to be very, very, very direct. I don't want to just give a hypothetical. I got to give y'all scenarios that's really happening out here. It's women that are mad that they got to go home to their baby daddy and they can't break up their family, and they mad because they don't have the ability to be able to sustain on their own. My rent too high. They going up on my rent. I got to go home. First they'll say, I'm going to be homeless. Hey, you guys, can you please send me some money? Oh my God, my Cash App is in the description. It's so tough out here. And then you never see them homeless. You don't never see them in the car. Then they be like, I had to go. I hate this man. I hate this man. And then the kids be in the background be like, Daddy, we we so happy to see you. We so home. And she be on the camera like, I hate him. He just get on my nerves. Always asking me to clean up after myself. Janice, I'm just telling you what listen, if it's not true, then they shouldn't put it on the internet. Otherwise, I just got to go based off of what people are saying and doing. That's what's happening.
Did you ask President Biden to reach out to President Trump in the matter of transition and say, hey, which way do we want the next president to be able to administer the employees that are under his purview
I
as the
certainly
unitary
did not.
executive?
I worked for President Biden. He appointed me, and I was confirmed in a lopsided bipartisan margin by the Senate, and I executed the duties that I was assigned at Social Security to better serve senior citizens, better serve people on SSI, and people with disabilities. That's what I did, Congressman.
My counter argument to you, Mr. O'Malley, is that whether it's whatever president we're talking about, they all have the same duty to serve the seniors who were promised something on Social Security, and that mission is going to be executed regardless of party, regardless of president. But, sir, what you did was to essentially do a workaround of the incoming administration. But I'm going to come back to you later. Ms. Grezler, I'm going to come back to you.
Ooh, Byron is cooking.
You stated earlier in your testimony about we do have an issue with some of the federal employees who are doing work, union work, on federal government time. Can you expound upon that?
Yes, unfortunately, we don't have any more data on that because the Biden administration stopped collecting that.
This is one of the most corrupt administrations that we've ever seen in our entire life. This is one of the most corrupt administrations that we've ever seen in our entire life. They are so dirty, so evil. Somebody asked a question earlier in the live stream, and they saying, is it fair to say that this Biden administration guy, this administration, him himself and his administration, which includes Kamala Harris, is it fair to say that he's probably one of the worst presidents in our lifetime, let alone of all time? We're going to evaluate that next week once he's officially gone. That's a part of one of the shows that we're putting together.
But if you use what the Obama administration, those figures, and convert them to today's salaries, taxpayers are paying over $300 million per year to pay federal employees to step away from the jobs they're hired for and to instead go do union work on taxpayers' time.
Mr. Chairman, if you will oblige,
and we don't even have the most recent updated figures because the Biden administration is preventing us from even collecting that data anymore.
Some of do you have an idea of some of the work that's being done on federal government time for the unions that they're a part of?
That can include negotiations. It could include lobbying Congress. It can include helping employees to file grievances or unfair labor practices if they have their telework policies taken away from them.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that it's in the interest of this committee and, frankly, of the United States going forward that we find out exactly what work is being done while employees are being paid by the federal government that is not within the purview of the job that they were hired to perform.
I agree. There's too many people that's getting paid to do too many things that don't even have anything to do with the job that they was hired for.